And before we get in the program, Holly, it's time for this week's Joke of the Week.
What kind of flower looks like it just came back from a fight?
Fighting flower, rose, thorns.
A black-eyed Susan. This week's
That's violent.
This week's garden joke is brought to you by Rescue.com. American-made rescue products keep your family, home, and yard protected from pest insects like wasps, hornets, yellow jackets, flies, ants, and more. Learn more at Rescue.com. That's RESCUE.com.
We don't condone violence unless it's in a controlled environment, like for entertainment purposes.
There could be a flower fight, on TV in the flower world.
Oh, okay.
On Flower
Is that like
Tube.
a BBC thing, Channel 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so we're going to talk about things that you can do with food scraps, mostly vegetable scraps, but...
Besides either throwing them in the trash or in the compost.
Yeah, or putting them directly in your garden, like a compost situation. So we have making broth, and this is something I've done myself. You can make vegetable broth, you can make bone broth with chicken bones or other bones.
Really, any kind of bone broth you can make. There is in the hunting world, there is deer bone broth. We've watched people make moose bone broth. Yeah. So if you're not in the,
I think you would, if it was really gamey, you probably wouldn't enjoy that. But you would have to,
if you're already consuming that, you're accustomed to that type of flavor anyway.
Right. So let me explain the process.
Yeah, because this is how do we keep all the scraps together before that they don't rot, so we can maximize the usage, and how does this work?
So what a lot of people do, and this is what I've done myself. It's been a while, but I just take a zip top freezer safe bag, and I put my vegetable scraps in there, like onion ends, onion peels, carrot tops, celery leaves.
Is there anything that shouldn't?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, unless it's like really potent and it's going to overtake. But if you
use it's currently rotten.
Yeah, rotten. You don't want that. So then what you do is you simmer the scraps, and you can add, again, bones to this, or you can do bones separately, whatever you want to do. It does make really good chicken broth, which is what I've...
So a big pot, a lot of water, put this stuff in there and just let it simmer down for hours or days?
Hours. You could do like a whole day. And then people will can it, or you can freeze it, whatever works for you. If you do freeze it or can it, it's best to do it in like 32 ounces, because you're probably going to use it to make soup. Or if you might want to just have like a little bit that you're going to add to cooking, like stir fry or something, you could do like ice cube trays and put that in there and freeze it, and then take those out and put them in a freezer safe container. Now,
could you do this in a slow cooker, or is this really best utilized over the stove with a lot of heat if need be?
You could do it in a slow cooker. I know people have done it in their Insta cookers as well. Okay. You'd have to, your mileage may vary type of thing. If I were to do this in a slow cooker, I would do it on high, not low.
What other things can we utilize these food scraps for or with?
A lot of people will regrow things such as lettuce, carrots, celery, and green onions.
Now, the carrots, you're not going to get a new root. You're going to just get greens, tops.
Yeah.
You cut the bottom portion off, let's say a romaine. You cut that inch bottom off, and you set it in water. You're going to get some growth out of that.
But it's kind of bitter.
It's going to be bitter in some instances, but it is going to grow.
Right.
Sweet potato, you can...
sweet potato vine.
Sweet potato vine, and the leaves you can utilize and eat the leaves.
This is something that I think is fun, and it's a good idea.
This is not a sustainable measure
and I think it's fun, like maybe if you have kids, or it's the middle of winter and you want to grow something and you're like, why not try this? So it's fun. You can reuse these scraps. There's lots of different ideas on places like Pinterest, but...
Is that still a thing?
It's still a thing, yes. I don't think it's as popular as it used to be. I use it to find stuff.
The Instagram and TikTokers have taken over and pushed it back.
It's kind of nice because it will...
Social media 101 here.
It will provide you, like...
Screenshot
images. So if you go to Google something, it might not be the best when it comes to like visual stuff, and Pinterest provides that, especially like recipes or anything craft or whatever. It's kind of cool. So yeah, anyway, so then you can also get creative with culinary uses. So this is more possibly for herbs and fruits, but you can infuse oils and vinegars. We do this with strawberries and vinegar.
Yes.
We made strawberry vinegar. And then you can do that for oil. So there's like herb oils or herb butter, citrus oil, citrus vinegar, things like that, where you are taking something that tastes good and then infusing it into the oil or vinegar.
Well, it was like a family sit-down restaurant. This was 20 plus 5 years ago, and they had strawberry butter. And they homemade rolls or homemade bread, and they would cook it in the terracotta pots. And it was each, 3-4 inch pot, and each of you get a loaf of bread. And they had the strawberry butter. It was butter that was infused with strawberries.
There you go. That sounds really good. So then you can make pesto. This is especially nice if you have, say, a lot of leafy greens and you're like, I just don't know what to do with these. We've made kale pesto. You can make all types of pesto.
What is pesto?
Pesto is basically like, it's a sauce. It's a green sauce. And it's chopped up greens, typically made with basil, pine nuts, and garlic and oil. But there's so many different variations of pesto now that you can...
And you really can just put this on bread.
Put on bread, you put on pasta. People will make I've made this where...
If it's really good, you just eat it with a spoon, like whipped cream out of a tub.
Kind of intense. I made pesto, what's it called? Pesto, pizza, kind of. So you take a piece of naan bread, which is...
Okay, what is naan bread?
It's Naan. It's a naan bread. It's a flatbread, essentially. And
like a crust. It'd be like the version of a crust on a...
yeah,
okay.
And then but it's like a one-person. So if you take a slice of naan, it's like a one-person size pizza. So you put the pesto on, and then you put the cheese and whatever toppings you want, and then you cook it I do in the toaster oven, really quick and easy, and it's delicious, and it's a good little lunch.
Pick me up.
Yeah, a little lunch.
Yeah, a little lunch. Sure.
It'd be kind of big for a snack. Anyway, so you can also candy citrus peels. So there would be a sweet treat or add it to baked goods. I've never tried this, but it sounds interesting.
Okay, so you're taking the peelings of lemons or limes or oranges, and you're canning them.
No, you're candy.
Making them into candy.
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 Yes.
Okay.
So that's a process of you cook them in sugar, and then there's a whole thing. You'd have to...
So the healthy or unhealthy type of candy.
Right. We also have croutons.
Yeah, here's something that some people get either make a lot of bread, or in some instances are given a lot of bread through certain programs, and you just can't go through that much bread. So making into croutons, and a crouton can be just a piece of bread with some seasoning on it, dried, and to whatever size that you want it to be.
Do you have to put seasoning on it?
No, you don't have to put seasoning on it.
I didn't think so.
There are some, the croutons you buy at the store, there's herb, or there's ranch flavor, or there's, there's multiple butter flavor. There's all different, there's dozens of different flavors of croutons.
Caesar.
Yes.
Texas toast. I think Texas toast is just like butter and garlic.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's breadcrumbs too. You would do the kind of the same concept of croutons where you bake it. And
you can do this with the what are they called? The ends of the bread that most people don't like. What is it called? The butt of the bread? Is that what it is? Or
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
And
end cap.
End cap.
Yeah, end cap of the bread.
I think if you say the end of the loaf, people will understand. Or and then we talked about bone broth and animal feed. And if you have chickens, you probably already have figured this out that chickens will eat pretty much anything. I don't know what chickens can't eat, so you should probably look into that. But if you have other animals that could eat food waste, you can definitely feed that to them. Cleaning solutions, I've done this with citrus peels and vinegar, make a DIY cleaning solution, and it smells good.
And it because of the citrus oils, it cleans as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Potpourri. So you take the citrus peels, simmer them, and it creates a natural air freshener.
Yeah. Well, other things in which you can do that will help in your spices or your butchering needs, farm, a homestead, or hunting, Walton's Inc. has all of that for you.
We are brought to you today by our sponsor, Walton's Inc. We know you care about where your food comes from. Canning and preserving your fruits and vegetables is great, but what about the meat? At Walton's, you can get all the equipment, seasoning, and supplies to make sausage, jerky, and any other meat product your way to your high standards. Do you want to make snack sticks that people will actually like? Walton's created meatgistics.com, an informational site to help you make the best finished product. Walton's even has a full line of their meat grinders, mixers, and sausage stuffers to help you go from animal to edible. Walton's everything but the meat. You can use code GROW50, that's GROW50, to save 10% off for your orders of $50 or more.